Okay, so this is going to be like a bit different. This is more on the film side than the media side. So this is specifically aimed at the filmmakers in the room, and I mean specifically people who want to make feature films for a living, and also specifically my ballpark is fiction. A lot of this will apply to documentary as well, but really talking if you want to be a fiction filmmaker in Scotland, I'm just going to share some of my experience, and I should start a timer as well because there's a lot. I think I've overstuffed this. I've never done this presentation before, and I can't find sure. So the rule book is just this stupid thing that came out like me and my friends where we're trying to find our way, influencer for 15 years, trying to make films, trying to become directors. And we realized that we kept on learning these new rules about the industry that you can't like Google, you kind of need to either make a mistake and realize you've made a mistake and there's a new rule, or talk to someone more experienced than you. So every time one of us learns something, we share it. It's like, right, put it in the rule book. So it's not copyrighted, it's just that it makes it look nicer when you do that. So I'm Graham. I've made 4 no-budget films. That is crucial for the context here. I've never made a finance film, I've never made a funded film. All of these together cost about 15 grand. I'm also a union supporter, but there's a lot of discussion about unpaid work and things, which I don't have time for just now, but if anyone wants to ask a question about that, or I can get over to that later. So my first 2 films were comedies. One was a coming-of-age film, and one was a kind of teen comedy film. Those got a wee bit of attention, but didn't find an audience. And then my second 2 films were found-footage horror films, and they found more of an audience, which I will get back to soon. Yeah, so caveats, just that last one in particular, like I said, this is not necessarily career advice, which is probably a terrible thing to say in industry now. But you need to be, if you want to make feature films in Scotland, you need to be obsessed, you need to be single-minded about it. It's an extremely difficult path from my experience and from my peers who, we've all taken different approaches to get that done, and it is very, very difficult. So, you've just graduated and you want to take your steps towards making your first feature. I think there's broadly 2 routes. The traditional route is you make no-budget shorts, which I'm assuming a lot of people have done already through uni. You can continue doing that after uni to just own your craft and make connections in that. Then you approach Screen Scotland and try and get a funded short or one of the other kind of grants. Then you get your short made, funded. Then you get onto funded development with Screen Scotland and make your first funded feature. And after that, you blow everyone away with your funded feature and the finance comes. I should just clarify in case anyone doesn't know, funded is specifically like government money and what's called soft money, and finance will be more independent or studio. So that's the traditional route. I don't know a single person who's done that. I know of about 2 or 3 people that I don't know who I think have done that based on like looking at the career progression, but it's very rare. The other route is same first step, make no-budget shorts, grow your connections and gain experience, and then I would suggest making a low-budget feature as your next move. Once you've felt that you've got enough experience behind you and you've got a good handle on your productions and things are moving smoothly and you feel ready artistically to take that step, and I suggest you should make a no-budget feature. And then the next step would be that the finance comes to you after that. I say comes to you, not quite, but it gets your foot in the door and gets you noticed. I think that no-budget features are kind of like the new calling card shorts. That's a personal opinion, but I think there are still people that make shorts and get that to feature momentum, but I think you're probably better off. I don't see a whole lot of difference between making a 10-minute short and a 70-minute feature. Obviously, it's like a lot more work, but there's the kind of, it's not as big a gap as it might seem. So money. So if you're ready to make your feature, you need to protect yourself financially because life is still in a pay-to-live system. So you should get a job that is flexible, ideally creative. It doesn't have to be something that's related to the industry. That's like a plus, but something that you can keep the money coming in, but you're free for shoots, or you've got enough time when you're not at work that you can be thinking about writing and making your film. So yeah, enough to live, and then again enough to save, because in an ideal world you're putting your own money into the film, because I think that is a show of faith to people who you're going to be asking to either work for cheap or for free, that you're backing it and you're putting everything in yourself. But for the film, that can either come from savings, Kickstarters or crowdfunders, and a skill share as well. If you have in your network other like-minded people who want to make their feature, then you can swap roles, do an in-kind service. Because I think like everything should be transparent and equitable as much as possible. This is where we come into that kind of like horrible area of people not getting paid, which is that I'm ready to talk about if anyone has questions about it. Okay. So, similar to what a lot of these guys have said before, it is who you know. The fact that a lot of jobs will go through Facebook or just word of mouth. This applies to film as well, as in, feature filmmaking. That you need to go to festivals, and you need to just be meeting people as much as possible. But the most important people are the people in the room with you just now, your peers, because if you've got those genuine connections, if you've got those friendships, you're going to come up together. And okay, right now you're not going to be able to give each other much help in terms of career, but 10 years from now, one of you, like your old friend from uni, might be doing such and such or that, and you can either help them with their journey or they can help you. But it is who you know, and I think you should be mindful of that and trying to make genuine connections with people who resonate with you, and not to approach it too cynically as a career move, especially because like if you are that person that's kind of at a networking event looking over people's shoulders, it's just obvious and off-putting as well. So yeah, just be friendly and just make as many connections as you can. Practicalities of making your feature film. I recommend you learn as many skills as you can, because each job that you can do is something that you don't have to pay for, basically, someone that you don't have to ask to work for free. So on the last film I did, did writing, directing, using editing, shot it, did music degree, AD, VFX, SFX, and acting. And I also made the call sheets, and guess what?
The one by the...
Yeah. So if you can do all these things yourself, and if you've got like the backbone to do the work, all of that there, bar sound, which I never learned how to mix. That's like a film. I can just sit in a room and make a film. The quality probably won't be that good. It won't be very interesting, but that's a no budget film in itself. If you can do all those jobs, you can do it from the front end, and you can do it in no budget. And like as much art as possible. I think that's fairly obvious, but yeah, good thing to be a film nerd, but also theatre, books, music, anything like computer games, even anything that gives you inspiration that you can bring into your filmmaking. Skillshare, as I said, is good just for building connections and also building up your own skills, and then you're leveling up together as well. So a feature I did in 2014, our DOP was like a camera assistant at the time, but he was aspiring to be a DOP, so he got to shoot. I say got to, I'm so lucky to get him. We shot a film together. It was his first feature as a DOP. So people sometimes the kind of predict that is life and that's the job. But other people on occasion are wanting to do more or bigger than that. So be aware of people that want to level up and people that are as hungry as you are. So here are some things to keep in mind a bigger no budget film. There's two kind of competing pieces of advice here, and it's the top and the bottom one. I think if you're going to go to all of this effort to make a no budget film and you are wanting to make a career as a filmmaker, then I feel like you need to do everything in your power to make the film work for itself. And by that I mean, if you make a drama or a comedy no budget film, there's a very small chance it's going to get seen because those kinds of genres rely on talent, as in like acting, and it's very difficult to program at festivals. Whereas genre specifically horror, but also sci-fi and dark thriller and things along those lines, they can play at genre festivals, and the horror crowd, they don't care who's in it. They don't care how much it costs. All they care about is it good or is it not. So you're on a more level playing field with the genre market. So I highly recommend, if you've got a brilliant drama idea, if you can get some form of genre into it that doesn't go against your artistic sensibilities, then I seriously recommend that. As well as that, knowing the market, these go hand in hand, is just knowing what's selling, knowing what's popular, and I don't mean chasing trends, but also just knowing, like, are you doing something that's been done before, or just keeping an eye on the business side of it, which I know sounds really horrible, but always comes back to money. Likewise, I suggest you keep your budget under £10,000 because you'd be very unlikely to make anything back. My last two were 5 and 7 respectively, and they both grossed money. All the cast and crew got a cut of the money afterwards, but it's only because of the low budgets at the start. I think you use your weaknesses as your strengths. So the example I always think of is Matt Johnson's The Dirties. That was a 10 grand film. They shot it, found footage, it was about school shooting, and they just used that kind of found footage aesthetic as their aesthetic rather than trying to do something that was more polished or something where you would bend at the seams a little bit more. And then the last piece of advice is, on a no-budget film, no one is going to tell you no. So it is your chance to be very specifically you. This is why I say it goes kind of contradictory to the first one, which I'm saying, make it genre. So if you can manage to get both of those things in there, I mean, if you're a horror fan, then you're fine. But if you're not, then you might struggle with that a little bit. But yeah, I think art for the sake of art is wonderful. So if you're making something that's completely you, now is your chance. And there's nothing bad about that, and you might still get the film seen, have a good festival run or that, but it's going to be a harder road, so it's just something to bear in mind. So what do I have to show for this? I have art I'm proud of, art starting profit, it's made on my own terms, it's paid my friends and other artists that I know, and it's raised my profile and access to finance. Like I said at the start, I've not made a finance film yet, but by doing the no-budget films, I now have good contacts that have seen the films at festivals, I've found an audience, I'm close to financing my first film, and got a few other projects in development. So I think it's just about visibility. If you can have a film, a feature film that does well at the festival circuit, then there's a real way to connect to the next steps and actually turning was essentially a glorified hobby on my part into a career that pays. Yeah, your medals would be bigger. That's me. Thanks for listening.